Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Chavers,
I'm Deb Floros,
and this
and
is
this
Crimped.
is Crimped.
I'm not even trying anymore,
Nope,
Deb.
not trying.
We're just
But you
saying it.
never
We're just
know.
saying it. It's
When you
just
go back
personality.
and look at it, it might actually be on time.
That's not going to be on time. How you
Hello, everybody.
doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Lots going on. We've been
Yeah,
busy.
yeah, for sure.
Happy New
So,
Year.
yeah, Happy New Year. And guys, this is episode 1 of season 2. Can you
Woohoo!
believe it? Yeah.
Yeah, we had 12 episodes last year, shaping up to be a fantastic 2025 so far. So I'm so excited.
Me too.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I think we did a lot last year. I mean, we had some amazing guests. We
Mhm.
had some amazing topics. We had some cool crimped challenges, and we achieved 1,000 members to our group. Thank you, guys.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I would say we fulfilled some goals for the year and did some cool things. It took us a year, but I think we did some cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. For a space where we really didn't know what we were doing. And we're
No,
just kind of marking or making the way ourselves. I think we did quite a bit for the first 12 months. So I'm very excited to look at the next year.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is not something that is kind of the norm out there in the jewelry making space. And for those who are just seeing this crimped show for the first time and they want to know what the heck is this, this is a jewelry making talk show, a little collaboration between Brittany Chavers and I. And yeah, we talk about making jewelry. We talk about jewelry in general because I think we are especially passionate about jewelry and jewelry making.
Who, us?
Maybe a little
We
bit.
live, breathe jewelry making.
And we have a cool challenge that we do every month. So we challenge each other to do something, and it is kind of in the vein of Chopped, the cooking show. And so we kind of hand over a challenge, even though we can't hand each other a box of ingredients all the time. We sometimes do that.
Mhm.
And then we make something, and then we give you guys the challenge, and we want you to continue to be challenged with new and fun things. So yeah, so I think this is a great show. And I know for some folks it's a little bit on the long side, but we want you to hang with us and get your coffee or your beverage or whatever else and watch and maybe make jewelry while you watch. Or you can, half watch, half listen, because we all do that for some of the things that we like to watch. So Brittany, we had a fun exchange of things at the end of 2024 to get us ready for this first challenge. Why don't you tell everybody what we decided to do? And maybe we can get going with showing them.
Yeah. So our challenge this month was to make a jewelry kit for each other. So and it's really wild. Of course, our kits were nothing like each other, which is surprising to me because we love to do the same thing all the time, um, without knowing it. But then we gave that kit to each other when we met up to give our gift of jewelry last month, and now it was our turn to make something from each of those kits. And I did not wait till 7 o'clock this morning. I did start making maybe mid-afternoon yesterday. So I've got 5 pieces. I'm excited about that. And my kit really was not my chosen color palette, so it wasn't difficult for me, but it was different, and I ended up with several pieces that I know I'm going to wear, and made me branch out. So that's the beauty of a kit. You don't know what's coming in them, right? Like you don't get to choose. So whether you just use what's in the kit like I did, or you use your kit in conjunction with your stash, it's a great way to open up your mind. And that was the challenge for this episode. How'd you do,
Yeah.
Deb?
I loved what you picked out and put together.
Oh, good.
I mean, I don't really have a preferred palette, so to speak. I mean, I do lean in some directions, but I love it all. Like, so this color palette was super inspiring, and some of the little fun things that you put in just got my mind, the wheels turning in my mind. And I sat down one day while I was uploading something and had to, couldn't use my phone, couldn't do anything on social media. So I just sat down and laid everything out. And I had so much fun
Aw.
making these
Yay.
pieces. And I used up I still have some beads, but not a lot. And I used almost exclusively things from the kit. Like I have to really think about what I added. I think it may have just been some seed beads and findings. That was it.
Yeah,
So,
I only added wire and findings. I did not add anything else. Because you gave me such a comprehensive kit, and I made 5 pieces, and there's still stuff that I didn't get to use because there was just so much in there. So and I think, Deb, did we post what was in the kits yet? I can't remember. I
I
think
don't think so.
we posted, I think I spliced in a photo from
Oh,
last month into the show, and if I still have those photos, I'll try and splice those in right here.
okay.
But so tell me a little bit about the kit that you made for me.
Um, so I kind of like, I know kind of what direction you lean into typically. So I thought, let's get her to lean into a slightly different direction. So I kind of picked out some darker things, like some things with a darker vibe. I kind of, when I put everything down on my work table, I don't know, there were a couple pieces in there that made me think of an owl eye. And so the way I laid it out, it made me think of like an owl and like a night owl and like, a cool wintry owl. So that was kind of the vibe that I was getting. So I just kind of kept adding some things that had a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of shine, but kind of broody and darker than what you would normally do. So that's kind of where my head was at when I put it together.
Yeah, for sure. I really loved all the, like, there was a lot of black and white in there, and then some really deep purples and a little bit of shell, and it was really fun. I want to say my favorite beads that were in there were probably the white crackle glass beads that you put in, because I hadn't quite seen, I love crackle glass, we all know this,
I
but
know
I
you do.
hadn't quite seen crackle glass beads that were like that. They were a little opaque. They look opally almost. There's some glitter in them, and there was a little bit of aurora borealis going on. I was just like, these are amazing. So I used up every single one of those.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, your kit was so joyful and so bright and had lots of like, I don't know, like a joyful talisman kind of effect to
Yeah.
it. So
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 I
that's
included like some my typical color palette, right? Like the southwestern boho feel, turquoise, pink, orange, gold, brass. I don't know if there were any other, a little bit of yellow, I think was in there. And then I included some handmade components and just everything that sparked joy when I was grabbing, and a little bit of check glass. So I was like, what do I want? I'll give it to Deb. So I think I just can't wait to see what you made with it.
all right. So I don't remember who went
I'll
first
go. I
last
can go
time.
first this time.
You go
So,
first.
I first made the first thing I made was the biggest thing I made. I made 2 necklaces, a pair of earrings, and 2 bracelets. Now this necklace is a monster, and I've got one of the earrings hooked on it. So here we go.
Ooh,
I don't
ooh,
know
I
if you can
love
see
it.
that, but Deb supplied me with 2 of these big teardrop metal beads, and they are beads because there's a hole at the top, right?
Mhm.
I wire wrapped some of
Ooh,
the crystals and the shells onto it. And originally, she gave me some donuts, and I was going to hang one here, but it just became a little too busy. I made a pendant out of one of the large, and I don't know if these are glass, right?
yeah, yeah,
Glass teardrops, a check glass bead, and then we kind of came up, and there were some coins. I made this is gonna kind of drape. It's a very long necklace, and then there are those crackle
crack.
glass beads right here. Some more check and shells and crystals. And then you gave me these lamp work purple beads that I put up the back with some bicones. So that one I'm gonna put it on. So I did wear a necklace, so I'm not naked, but I wanted to make sure that I was
Naked.
wearing wearing this necklace for the rest of the show. And then I made another necklace, but it was more because, I'm into a little bit shorter necklaces sometimes. Here, let me stand up because you can't see. There's
Ooh,
there's the
love the
necklace.
pendant.
Yeah, so this will be really long on a nice dress or something like a black shirt. I think this would look really good with. It's not going to
Yeah,
disappear because that white and the sparkle is going to really pop out.
yeah.
I made a very short necklace using some of the crystals that you
Ooh,
gave me. So these are like the purple was a little different than the purple in here, so I really couldn't make it work with that. But I liked it in almost like a neutral, so I can
yeah.
wear this stacked with anything else, basically. And it'll come to
Ooh,
right about there. So I could really stack it with this necklace,
yeah.
but I think this will be cute for the summer when I just want to run to the store but we have to put jewelry on just to run to the
Of
store. So
course.
this is really
Yeah,
cute, lightweight, not hot. We live in Arizona, so
yeah.
so a really cute quick necklace, and I used some purple wire on that because you could see it where I attached it to the component.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
And then I made this pair of earrings using the donuts and the hearts that you gave me. So
Ooh,
let's see if I
those
can
look
get this.
cool.
Just,
Those have such a great shimmer.
yeah. And I just love the mosaic shells. And then there's a little tiny crystal at the top.
Oh, I
And
love
then I made
them.
two very simple bracelets using the crackle glass and then the check glass rectangles you gave me. And they're the exact same bracelet, but I flipped them. So here's one with the white. I don't know if this is the white in the
Yeah.
middle with the check glass. And then
Yes.
here's one with the black in the middle
Oh,
with the check
I
with the
like
check.
that. The
So
opposite thing. That's
yeah.
cool.
And these will just work really well together. I did them a little loose so they can just kind of be that
Yeah.
comfy bracelet that you just slide on. I see these becoming like a staple because black and white, right?
Yeah.
But and then I can just wear just the black or just the white on top,
Yeah.
or I can wear the black and white and black and white on top. So they're really versatile, simple design, but high
Yeah.
impact, right? Because those beads are so pretty.
I know they are. Wow. Like I love all of it.
Thanks.
I think my favorite is actually the short necklace
Yeah, it's
because
fun.
it's just got that open thing and it's sort of minimalist, but
Hmm.
then you put it with something like the big statement necklace you have on, and it's just kind of balancing out that other piece. So,
Yeah.
fun.
And then if I want to, I can hang a pendant on here. I can hang a charm,
Yeah.
several charms, whatever, going forward. So,
Yeah, you could do little lobster claw
uh-huh.
charmies and put them on, and that would be really fun.
Yeah. So thanks for a cool kit, Deb.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I love what you did with it. It was fun to put it together. Really
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah, when I was putting your kit together, I was just like, oh, I could do this all the time.
Yeah. Kits are fun to make. They really
Mhm.
are.
I need to do more for my store because that's one of the fun things is just like I don't
Yeah.
need to create, but that's the other thing. It's like I have a hard time getting rid of that stuff. Like, oh, this is fun. I want to keep it.
Yeah. That's where I usually am, but I'm trying to teach myself to do better with that. Like just let it go. Like you have so much. When are you going to
I
actually use
know.
it?
I know. But then there's always that what if?
Yeah. What if I have 27 hours in a day? That's not possible.
17 days in a week.
Yeah, exactly. What if that happens? Then I could do it.
So what'd you make?
Well, I was just so inspired by everything. So I started with a necklace. I've got 3 pieces. Let me take off this ring. Um, so here is my necklace. So I
Oh my
tried
goodness.
to incorporate the big hand, which I love, and then the pieces that you made. So I know that you made these little butterfly moth kind of pieces in the Humble Beads class.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are some of your polymer pieces, which are so great. And they all of the check and the glass and the metal, just fantastic combination of everything.
Love that.
So, so
We did the
this, I'm,
same style necklace, Deb.
yeah, it kind of is.
It's
I mean,
exactly the same.
seriously, kind of that same, dramatic vibe going. This one's a little bit shorter.
Yeah, but like this, the
Yeah.
pendant that we made with the teardrop, and then the
Yeah.
two hangy thingies on the side. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we didn't make the same kit, but we made the same necklace.
We had the same thought process going there. Okay, and then I got to take off my earrings because I will be putting on these earrings. So, um, in honesty, I have these little heart charms, and I've worked with them before, but I didn't have them in white.
Cute.
So I took these little star pieces, and then I grabbed one of the little charms, if it would stop moving, and I put it onto one of the little fronds and then rolled it up.
Oh, that's a
And
cool idea.
so the little charmy is just kind of hanging in between a couple of those. And
Love
it's a
that.
little bit tricky placement wise, but these are so fun. I just love these because they have a little bit of a Valentine's Day vibe, which is coming, but not overtly Valentine's Day. And
Yeah,
I think they're super fun.
those are
And
so cute.
then I had to just string on and make a memory wire bracelet with all of the other fun
I love
goodies.
it. I love
So
it.
the colors are just amazing. So there were even some little pearls. So
Mhm.
the ends of the bracelet have little trios of the pearls, but then I've got the little metal drop charms throughout, and the check flowers, and these little glass cuties, and these actually move on the seed beads. So there's a seed bead
Ooh,
continuity, and these little glass beads are like fidgets on those sections of the bracelet.
those are little African glass beads. Love
They're
those.
so cute. The colors. So this is just joyful jewelry. I mean, just joyful. So thank you
Yeah,
because I
love
love
those
it.
pieces.
Me too. I'm crazy about them. I've had them stashed because I made mine a while back, and I've had them stashed, and I had them actually even covered up. So when I opened it again last night, I'm like, oh yeah, I love these pieces so
I
much.
love that. I love that. So I think we
Yeah,
aced this challenge, didn't we?
for sure. I think out of the park, definitely. So now, the challenge, now it would be great if we could all send kits to each other, and someday maybe if we have like, an army of people to help us, we might be
Right.
able to do that. But what we thought for the crimpers is, you guys probably have a kit stashed in your drawer that you haven't taken out. Or maybe you've been itching to get a kit. Maybe you've got your eye on one or two out there with one of your favorite shops. So we want you to make something with a kit. So it could be a kit that if you decide to swap with somebody that you know, that would be cool too. You could tell us who you swapped with and that sort of thing. But there are so many kits out there. I know like some of the companies, Beat a Hall Leak and Goody Beads, and some of those have lots of kits available. There's tons of other companies out there that have them. So pick one up make something, post it in the group. So make a post, say, hi, I'm Deb. Here's my piece that I made. Tell us what the kit was. And did you modify it? Because honestly, as Brittany said, sometimes you get a kit and you don't know what's there. And maybe, you want to switch it up a little bit. Maybe you want to take off a jump ring or add a jump ring or add a bead or something like that. So tell us if you modified it. And we thought this would be a great way for you to get started in 2025 and challenge yourself to make something with a kit.
Yeah. And you can use the word kit loosely. You can use a bead box that you get a subscription,
That's a good point.
Bargain bead box, Sam's, Magical Mystery, Curated, DD, anything that's out there. You can use any of those kits. I know we have lots of friends who sell kits too. So Danielle Wicks, Bead Shop, all these places. So they're endless, right? And I'm sure you guys can find one. So use your imagination. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to see the photos.
And we're going to keep the giveaway theme going. So we did our very first giveaway in 2024. So for 2025, we're going to keep it up. So as long as you guys participate, we want you to participate. If you participate and if you do all the things that I described, and we'll put it in the group so you know what to do after you watch this. But you will be eligible to be randomly chosen for a box of goodies from us.
Yes.
So
who doesn't like goodies? I love goodies.
I mean,
I wish I could win, even though I'd be sending the beads to myself, but I'd take it anyway.
You could take it to the post office, have it be delivered, and it could be stuff that you've forgotten about because
that happens all the time.
Yes, it does. Did I order this?
What's in here? It's like,
oh my gosh, this was what I bought at midnight a couple of months ago. Yeah. So we're excited about all of the giveaways and all of the challenges that are coming your way this year. So the first one is make something with a kit.
Yes.
So I think, Brittany, we've got a really good topic for this month's feature. Do you want to tell everybody what we're going to talk about?
So goals, right? And setting resolutions for jewelry making in 2025. I don't know about you, but I'm not really a resolutions person. But for a long time, the word goal gave me the heebie-jeebies. And it's because I felt like there was this instant anxiety or instant weight on me that I have to perform or complete something. So for a long time, I was team anti-goals, but I like to do them now because they measure at the end of the year. I can measure growth, right? So my goal last year I had several goals last year and I met most of them, but even if you don't like the word goal like me, it's still most of the time a dirty word in this house. we how do you measure the things that you want to accomplish, right? So do you have resolutions this year? Do you have goals? And how do you help yourself achieve them? So I think that's what we're going to be chatting about today, right?
Yeah. I don't make resolutions. I think the whole New Year's resolution thing works for some people, but my New Year's resolution that I always tell everybody is I want to be better than I was last year in all aspects of my life, in my marriage, in my housekeeping skills, in every aspect of my life. So I just want to be better because I think it takes the pressure off of I want to lose 10 pounds or I want to, do this or I want to do that. But I do set goals. So I do set some goals and they're typically around, my business. And I have a little negative connotation around the word goal too, mostly because of my time in corporate America, where that's a whole topic for another show. But I feel like I achieved some of my goals. I didn't achieve all of them last year. But it's good to have them because you set your sights on something and it gives you something to work towards. And but I think it might be challenging for some folks to track that and
Mhm.
to stay with it through the course of the year. Now, you can set goals to be, a month long goal or a year long goal or a 10-year goal. But you have to kind of keep with it. And maybe that's what maybe we can start there. So, so when you set a goal, Brittany, what do you do to keep track of it? Or how do you get yourself kind of on the track of sticking with it?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think, like, how do I motivate myself? How do I stick with it? Most of my goals are mental. I typically once maybe every 6 months I'll write something down. And the funny part is finding that 2 or 3 or 5 years later. I know I found one recently, and I always every time I find it, I just put it back because it was from like 2013 or something, and it's just like, move to Arizona, buy a house, like, it's just like, oh, I did this, and it's a good reminder, right? So it's a good motivator for the future. But maybe every 6 months I'll just write a quick note, like, just to get the everything out of my brain. But most of the time I have like a running chart in my head of,
Yeah.
this is what's next, this is where I want to be, and that helps me with, not typically like manifestation, but the keep that thought in your head, and it's a
Yeah.
goal that you're striving towards. The more you think about it, the more your synapses are moving and you're thinking about what keeps you going for that goal. So I keep them at the forefront of my mind. I don't just think about it or set it and forget it. It's something that I keep thinking about. And what's the next step that I need to do? What's a little step that I can do today to get me towards that goal? It could be just go clean your bead room. It could be take the garbage out. It could be, something small, but it's going to help me get to the goal that I'm looking towards.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm very visual. So I think I do better. You said you write it down. If I don't write something down, it doesn't have the same hold or take the same effect. So once I've seen it, maybe it's work on organization of your beads. So I want to write it down, and then I want to keep it in a place where I'm going to see it. So I know some folks like journaling. So if you've got, I did have a little journal sitting here somewhere, but you might have a little journal where you just jot down your thoughts. Maybe you've got a page that's on top. It's your front page. Those are the things that you're always opening up your book and seeing. Maybe you have a whiteboard or a dry erase board that you can put something on. I think you have one in your studio.
I do. I haven't written anything on it since like June of last year. It's all the same stuff. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, I should probably utilize that a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah. And I do like I start my week with a checklist, and I like the feeling of crossing something out. So I have to make new lists all the time because I'm crossing stuff out. And so I don't know. I mean, folks, if you're looking to achieve something in the new year, you want to go after something this year, do it in a way that speaks to you. Put it on your wall, write it on a big piece of paper and tape it up right in front of you. Put it in your phone. Put a little reminder. You can set a reminder to pop up for you every single day. It's a recurring pop-up. Maybe that's a good visual to remind you to, go for your walk or work on your unfinished jewelry project that you've been working on for a month. So prompting yourself and visually seeing your goals, I think, is helpful.
Yeah.
I think.
Absolutely.
I think too, like we got a lot. I did a little covert, ask in the group about, what do you guys want to work on? What are you thinking about for the new year? And I'll share what I heard or what I saw. People want to use up their stuff. So they've got beads. Somebody even said, I need to stop buying beads. And I'm like, good luck with that.
LOL.
But yeah, LOL, but use them. And so that's a good one. Selling jewelry, so selling their jewelry, getting started with that. Someone also said, I'd love to do a better job of taking photos. Someone wanted to start inventorying their stuff, so their pieces that they had made, building an inventory of jewelry for craft shows, just making time to play with their beads. That was another one. Vary their techniques. So vary and try new techniques. And then there was the one of finishing all of those projects that are just kind of sitting around, stacking up on the workspace. So those were some of the things, the goals, the resolutions that folks had mentioned that they wanted to do this year. So motivation, we talked a little bit about, like, how do you stay with it. What do you think? I think consistency is important. What do you find that you do something more consistently if you have a goal? I mean, do you feel like that's something that you have to work towards, as like the consistency factor?
Yeah, I think goals are a great motivator. Instead of just saying like, "Oh, I'd like to do this someday," having a specific goal, right? So, and you might have heard this in the corporate world, but a SMART goal. So the S stands for specific, right? So having that specific goal, time bound is the T. I can't remember the MART at the moment,
Yeah.
but achievable or actionable and something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's ridiculous, corporate America,
Yeah.
but it does make sense. So
Yes.
specific and time bound, those are the two things that really help me. I'm also just anxiety. Like, that's a great motivator. So that's one that I have to use to help me get along with a lot of the deadlines that I set for myself. I set deadlines. I make sure I know when they are. Those are great motivators for me as well. That comes in with procrastination. So at least I know my downfalls, so I can work around them. That's what
Yeah.
keeps me
Well,
motivated,
you
though.
can make it work to your advantage.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like consistency can help with all of these things that folks have suggested. So, um, I'll pick the one, time to play with your beads. So I don't remember the crimper that came up with that one, but I would say that if you can find a time of your week, whether it's maybe you get up on a Wednesday morning and you get up maybe 30 minutes earlier and you grab your coffee or your tea and you go and you find a quiet place and you get 30 minutes of playtime. Even if that's all you can do, trying to like schedule that out for yourself. And maybe it's a weekly thing, maybe it's a twice a week thing. I know time is a hard thing for everybody. Everybody's got, their family and their home and their pets and jobs and all kinds of other things. But I feel like if that's something that you really want to do, you have to schedule it out for yourself or find a way to fit that in and make it a consistent thing. Because then once you get that consistency going, it's going to spawn more. It's going to spawn maybe the next idea that you have to work on or the next project you want to work on. And maybe it means you can start expanding on the time or how many times a week, that kind of thing.
I was just actually speaking about that with somebody else in the jewelry world community. And one of the things is, if you're lacking that time and maybe you can't get up early or you have something else to do, don't approach jewelry making as I have to complete a project. You got 5 minutes, go string on that thing you designed. You can put bead buddies on it, put the clasps on later, get your bracelet strung, or maybe there's a project where you didn't put your ear wires on. Go do that real quick. So it doesn't have to be a 3-hour project. It doesn't have to be a half-hour project. You got 30 minutes, that's great. But if you have 15 minutes, go just pick out some beads. So, and those quick hits give us a lot of dopamine, a lot of
Great.
joy. So,
Agree. Yeah. And I think something else you said about getting like doing it incrementally and taking it as far as you can at the time. So when I think about folks that want to sell their jewelry, so if you're starting at ground zero, you've never done anything, you'll need to get a list together of things you need to think about. And you can slowly work through all of those because you probably don't have days and days and weeks to think about it and work on it. Get a list together. Maybe that's your first step. Get the list together and then chip away at, where am I going to do this selling? Am I going to do it online? And if I do it online, what platform am I going to use? And what payment methods am I going to accept? And I probably need to look at how to address taxes. And, then what do I want the look and feel to be? So take those things and work them incrementally and don't let yourself, it's not a matter of life and death. So
Right.
just work through it and just chip away at it. And maybe in a day, all you have time to do is sketch out what you think your aesthetic needs to be for your particular site. Maybe you want to draw some pictures and maybe you want to research PayPal if you don't work with PayPal. So just, take it easy. Don't be hard on yourself, but incrementally take those steps to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. Just take it in baby steps or little bites of whatever it is. That's what I think. And do it consistently if you can. And you'll get to that goal. And if you have to extend your goal, that's okay too.
You're the one who made it. You can change it. And what if
Yeah.
it changes maybe you're like halfway through your goal and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. My life has changed. This is something else. It's okay to change the goal. You're not,
Yeah.
it's not against the law. So I think we become kind of our own worst enemy when we're during goals. Sometimes we take ourselves too seriously. So change it up.
Yeah.
It's not working for me.
I also like the idea of, so if you don't want to sell, you're not working on craft fairs, you're not doing anything that's external, but you just want to learn more or you want to make more. I love the idea of like a monthly set of prompts or a creative calendar. I see those from all different bead shops out there in the world, and I think those are great. So if you get a 30-day calendar, that may seem daunting, but some people really dig that. Like every day they can get in and make something. Today I'm going to make this. I have to make something purple. I'm going to make something purple today. Or I'm going to make a simple pair of earrings today. And some of these prompts are really, really fun. But you could say, I'm not doing every day. I can't do every day. But maybe I'll do one a week and I'm going to pick the one that I want to do because, again, it's not life and death. And, you could then have some things that get your creativity moving. And you could even make your own prompt list if you so desire. That could be a goal of yours as well. Right?
Yeah, I really want to do that. I love looking at them, but then I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I never come back to it. I think making one that's very specific to like my aesthetic or the things that I want to do is really cool. So I think that's going to be a goal for me.
Yeah.
Maybe make a few different ones.
Yeah. And maybe that's something from a crimped standpoint that we could share with you all at some point down the road.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. Spoiler alert.
So I think a goal should be something that you really want to do. It shouldn't be something that you just say, well, I kind of want to do that someday. Yeah. It's got to be that something that you actually can do. So if you want to try a new technique, well, go out, learn about it. There's 1,000 kajillion YouTube videos out there and
Right.
tutorials.
Awesome.
So if you want to learn how to macrame, or you want to learn how to do wire wrapping of stones or sea glass, I mean, there's so many possibilities out there. The power is in the search bar. Put in whatever you want to do in the search bar, and you're going to get so many tutorials and educational videos to help you do it. So, if you really want to set your sights on one particular thing, well, that's what you search for. And maybe you watch, 1 or 2 videos, and then you sit down with some things and start playing. And maybe by mid-year, if you start now, you'll be doing that technique, and maybe you even teach others how to do it if you're really good at it. Yeah. So I think motivation, consistency, tools. We talked about, all of those things to help you get a goal going and stick with that goal. I would suggest one other thought, Brittany, and that's to have a goal buddy. So if you are working on something, maybe you've got a friend that maybe if they're not doing the same thing, they still have something they're working on. You can talk to each other and say, how you doing on that, research you're doing for opening up an Etsy store, or how you doing on finishing those unfinished projects that are on your work table. Show me one that you finished in the last week. Sometimes that little bit of peer pressure, low key pressure, check-in kind of thing will help you. If you're really serious about achieving a particular goal, a buddy can help you, and you can help them.
Yeah, I like that one, buddy. The buddy system.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we could probably talk about this forever, but I think the key is if you've got something you want to do, make a goal, and maybe it's a goal that will, be out there for, the year, or maybe it's just out there for, 2 to 5 years for yourself. But make those goals, get going, get started, and find ways to remind yourself and keep yourself engaged, and do something consistently. And perhaps that will get you there. And use some of the tools that are out there, because there's tons of them. So, yeah. We want to hear about them. So we want you to share. If you're comfortable in sharing, share what you're working on, share how you're doing. And we'd love to hear throughout the year. How are you doing on your goals? Maybe we'll have to do a check-in on that, like maybe mid-year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So what do you think? Should we talk about our normal stuff that we talk about?
Yeah. So Deb, what are you obsessed with right now?
Well, I'm obsessed with a lot of things right now, but I'm particularly smitten lately with like small 2-hole beads. So I've been doing a lot of things with them for a while now, but I made back, it was December, like maybe second week in December, I did a live with Beads to Live By, and I used some 2-hole beads. I think these are brick beads and tile beads, and I made a ring. And I've got another project coming up for another company, and I'm probably going to do a live with some different beads on my art bead show coming up. But these are so fun to make. And then I just did a simple, this isn't like my design, but because I've been so obsessed with bugle beads too, I did this bugle and super duo bracelet. I think there's actually mini duos. And just, made a little bracelet, simple, but I love the 2-hole beads right now, the small ones, the checkmates. I'm crazy about trying to put them together and find different ways to use them. So that's my latest obsession.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't do my homework this time. I normally do, but I didn't. I think I have a couple obsessions. One of them is brass. I've just been like brass everything, but also mixed metals. So yeah, the pendant you see, but like I got this huge shipment of just brass everything, and I just all I want is to put brass on everything. Um, and I'm knee deep in Valentine's stuff. So hearts right now. I'm obsessed with hearts. Did a new release last week, actually the week before last, when I did a live with Meredith from Beetle, and then followed that up with a live with Danielle Wicks last Friday, and it was wonderful. And I love all the hearts that I've come up with. So hearts and brass at the moment are my two obsessions.
Yeah, the latest drops you've done have been really amazing. And when you see them used collaboratively with others like, Danielle, oh my gosh, the stuff that she did with your pieces were so
No, my
Danielle.
mind was blown. She got me to start trying to bead weave, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but we'll see. I really like the seeing my pieces mixed with her talent was really interesting and very eye-opening. So we'll see. We'll see how that
Yeah,
goes.
yeah, cool. Yeah, that's always kind of once you get going on something. So maybe that's a goal too, is trying to do a little bit of seed bead work with your pieces. Once you get going, who knows where that could go? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know that I have the attention span to keep it up, but it'll probably tie into our challenge for this month. That's for sure.
Well, we'll see. What about a favorite piece that you've made since we got together last?
So I didn't bring it in here. It is an African set. So I made a red and turquoise African set. In their gorgeous one big necklace, and then I think my favorite piece from that set is the bracelet. So I used African beads and macrame leather with them, and they're gorgeous. They're on my channel if you haven't seen it already. But favorite color combo, favorite type of bead. It was just match made in heaven.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, my favorite, I did a show on one of my art bead shows. I did a show about the birthstone of January, which is garnet, on a budget. Now, I have been pricing some really beautiful garnet, and some of it is just the price is out of my budget, like the really good stuff. I mean, you could get some little small pieces, some chips, and that kind of thing pretty affordably. But if you want some really high end good garnet, it's pricey. So I did all these pieces with check glass. So garnet
Wow.
shaded check glass. And these are big honkin' fire polish beads.
Yeah,
And
those are
then
cool.
and then all I did was add some square-dells, the rhinestone square-dells as my focal. So it's just a simple necklace, but the wow factor with these beads, I mean, they look like garnet.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of, the earrings I made just flew on the floor, but I did a couple of bracelets too, just in these smaller fire polish, and then these are like little garnet discs. So I was crazy about this color when I
Yeah, it's
started
pretty.
picking out the pieces. Like they just makes my heart sing. It's just a really deep, rich red.
You just reminded me I have some garnets that are like almost that size, and now I want to go dig them out. I have like several strands of the faceted ones, and I got them in some kind of crazy haul like 4 years ago, and now I'm like, we got to go get those.
Gotta find those, because that deep red like that I don't always think of at Valentine's Day, but
Mhm.
it also translates to Valentine's Day too. And so I'm really thinking about that with I probably have a few more designs that I'll get out for Valentine's Day before the big day comes. But I really like that color, not just for the birthstone of January, but also for Valentine's Day. It's just a really rich color. So find those beads, find them.
Yeah, I love that. Well, then there's the series that's coming up on my channel, is 14 Days of Valentine's Day tutorials. Those are starting probably January 31st, but I'm very excited for that. So maybe I'll work in some garnet now that you remind me.
Yeah. I mean, that deep, rich option, that color option would be cool to put into something. So I'll be watching for that. Oh, so I think we've covered everything we were going to talk about for the month, but we have one more piece of business, and that's
The
our
biggest piece.
yes, our next challenge. Do you want to tell everybody what we plan to do for each other?
Yes. So new year, new technique, right? So we're going to make a piece of jewelry with a technique or a variation of a technique that we have not tried before. That's a little difficult for us because we've probably tried a ton of stuff. So maybe a technique that you've tried and didn't like, or maybe a technique you've tried and didn't finish. So something along the veins of you're not familiar with this technique. And I think we all know what mine's going to be this month, but we'll see if it works out.
I hope you do. I hope you try that, because I one of my goals has been to work on my seed beading experiences, and you see, I mean, I'm executing on some of that, and I've made some really interesting things in the last year. So I hope you'll try that. It's a more time consuming thing than I think what both of us are used to, but I have something in mind too. But it's kind of a toss up between two things, and it will just be a variation of one of the two things, because I know how to do the base thing, but I want to possibly try a variation of one of them, and both of them involve a tool. So I have a couple things in mind, but I need to get going on that and start to really put pen to paper and figure out what it's actually going to be, because I need to make a decision on which one it's going to be.
Yeah, there's another one that I'm thinking of, but I'd have to buy a couple tools for, and I don't know that I have the time or the patience to do that when we have Tucson coming up.
I know. That's the Tucson factor is coming up in just about every conversation. So, but this one will be fun when we turn it over to you. So for now, your challenge is make something with a kit. Brittany and I will work on new year, new technique, and then we'll turn that over to you in the next show after we share what we make. And I can't wait to see what people are going to try, because, some folks will be trying something that might seem like it's an easy thing to someone else, but they're going to be really excited about trying it. Yeah. So this is a great opportunity for all of us to lift each other up and help you achieve maybe a goal of yours for 2025. This is a great way to start a goal, is to start with a brand new technique and do something different and make that a goal for yourself.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe you've not crimped something before. Maybe you haven't done a wire wrapped loop before, maybe you haven't used a bracelet bar before, something like that. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to start painting every piece of jewelry I make. I'm going to make all my beads from scratch. It doesn't have to be that. So just step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. So this is going to be a fun one. I'm excited to push myself a little bit, force my next step on one of these two things, or maybe a different thing. I do have a third thing on the floor here that might be an option. So I don't know. I've got a few ideas spinning around in there. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So, Brittany, gosh, are we going to get an appearance from?
Well, she's sleeping. Right there is her bed.
Yeah.
Right there. Ma'am, Miss Goldie, do you want to see your friends? You want me to come here? Come here. She's not. She's like, she looked at me.
Tired.
Come here, honey. She rolled over. Come here. You want to see your friends? No, she's not moving.
No.
Sorry.
Not happening.
Sorry about it.
Next time. Next time.
She's like, no, I'm gonna just sit here, Mom.
Yeah. Well, I think next time we're going to have a great conversation, because we'll be able to talk about what's coming up at the end of the month for us, and that's Tucson, the Tucson Gem Show. So we're going to gather up all of the information for all of you and share our experiences and our goodies and stories and all of that. So I'm looking forward to Tucson, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with everybody when we get back.
Yes.
So
Yes, we're obsessed. We are. That's all I can think about all day, every day, and I just can't wait to go. So very
me too.
excited for this year. Every year we see the same stuff every year, but it's just a different experience every year, and every year it gets better. So I'm excited. Cannot wait. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5
Two-ish.
weeks.
Two-ish.
2 weeks. So
All right. Well, I think that covers it for season 2, episode 1. And we want to thank all of you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please let us know what you think of this show in the comments, and we will see you for season 2, episode 2 soon.
bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
How did you know I started filming you? It's really weird. You're psychic.